Hey folks, it's Patriot Nurse. Join me today. We're going to discuss the movement in Virginia of gun sanctuary counties and also our inheritance as American citizens to defy lawless laws. So what gets me going this morning is looking at the news, of course, and seeing the Attorney General, who made a lovely proclamation from a mosque, no less, that it would be the responsibility of all Virginia counties, cities, etc., to enforce whatever gun laws that he and his little lackeys in Richmond and infected blue areas from the Beltway decide to get passed. Friends, the Sanctuary County Initiative, of course, is happening all over the nation, not just in Virginia, Old Dominion, but also in Illinois, of course, and many places out west. Friends, the gun sanctuary county movement is important for us to pay attention to, but perhaps for many different reasons, and some you may not have considered, so I want to cover them with you. Virginia is real close to me, having family members that serve not only in the Virginia House of Burgesses, but also constables in Wytheville, and ultimately, a family member of my ninth great-grandfather lived in Jamestown and participated in Bacon's Rebellion. So this is near and dear to my heart, and I'm sure many of y'all are watching this out there too. But the reason why we should pay attention to this is many faceted. The first is that, I don't know about y'all, but for the past decade at a minimum, every day that I wake up, it's like taking a dive in a toilet bowl because I'm looking at all this nonsense that's getting passed where freedom-loving, constitutional-minded, law-abiding people are getting hit in the face every day. We have more of our stuff taken away, more of our rights given away. More and more of it either legislated away or voted away by constituencies which don't represent us. And I'm sorry, when you have a nation infected with illegal immigrants, many of whom are voting, I would not call that legitimate representation. Because when you have the snowball effect of more and more people voting to take away the stuff, the property, the time, the labor, and the rights of people like me, law-abiding citizens, gets a little hard to swallow. So this Gun Sanctuary County Initiative is a long overdue pushback against these cowards and these spoiled children in the city-states that run our nation, whether it's Richmond or Chicago, Sacramento, go right on down the list. So we need to pay attention to Virginia for a few different reasons. The first is Virginia has been in both revolutions in the United States, the American Revolution and the War for Southern Independence. Virginia has been a very critical component to the overall timeline of the series of events here. When I look, and there are 42 counties, I think 8 more are voting on it today, 42 counties that are pushing back against this proposed legislation that would come down in January once Virginia's little legislature gets in there. Hopefully they'll recall this, y'all. There's still a chance they will, but I'm not putting my chips down on it. When you've got the governor and the attorney general saying that it's going to be enforced, you're not going to posture against us. I look at that as a direct threat, okay? And these are my neighbors we're talking about here. These are my neighbors. And friends in Virginia who are watching this, consider this too, that they are posturing against you. Thankfully, a lot of the sheriffs in these counties that have passed these initiatives are standing up against this. And in Tazewell County, they've passed a militia ordinance, which is what I would like to see more of. But friends, we have to understand something. This is words on paper. Words on paper. I want you to consider that in an atmosphere of lawlessness, where you have anarchy from the top down, and when you have lawlessness and disregard for the law, the basic rights of citizens, the Constitution, from the top down, they are illegitimate. So when you have legitimate assertions of power, what is the role of government? To protect the rights of the citizens. So when you have these gun sanctuary county movements that are happening, and you've got the sheriffs making statements that they will defend the rights of the citizens against any institution of government that would come against them, we do need to recognize that this is good, this is laudable, and it's way overdue, but it's words on paper, friends. It is no different than a temporary written contract between you and an armed criminal. Criminal meets you in an alleyway. Give me your stuff. You say, oh no, it's not the right thing for us to do here. It's not the right thing for you to take my property. Please sign this contract saying you won't take my property. He may play ball with you for a few minutes, but I want you to consider the frailty of that contract. Criminal who has force, intent, power, and ability writes down, I will not attack you and take your stuff. The second that alleyway becomes clear, what do you think he's going to do with that piece of paper he just signed? Crumple, crumple, crumple. Force is the only thing that preserves our freedoms throughout history. It's the only thing that preserves our rights. Your rights do not exist on paper. Your rights do not exist in the Bill of Rights. Your rights are not safeguarded by any institution other than yourself and your ability to defend it. So, in these gun sanctuary counties, amongst the sheriffs and the law-abiding people who have righteously pushed for these, I salute you and I commend you. But I would submit that that's not where we need to stop. We need to be pushing forward momentum-wise on this. When you consider also the words in the bill submitted by Virginia Senator Louise Lucas, which I believe it's Senate Bill 64, I'll put a link to it in the description box below, which effectively outlaws the militia, outlaws self-defense training, outlaws mutual defense groups. You need to pay attention to this and the timing of this. These people know what is coming. They're not stupid. They and all their little big tech minions have collated all the data from all the conversations they can get their hands on. They know the mood, okay? And they're engaging right now in a game of chicken. And so friends, my fellow citizens, my countrymen, especially in Virginia, let us not stop at words on paper. Let us be active in training and being willing to take a day off, an hour off, even if it's just to do dry practice, to do something to hone your skills. Because words on paper do not safeguard your rights. Your ability to defend yourself and to defend those rights is the only thing throughout history that has done so. If you want a drill to do, the 107 drill. I'll put a link up here. Look here. Whee! Follow the little video. This is not a joke. This is the nature of human history. When in the course of human events, when the government becomes destructive to the rights of those people, words on paper are words on paper. 50 rounds a year qualifying for the department folks who are watching me, sheriff's deputies. Y'all know that those 50 rounds a year that you get to qualify on is not going to be enough if you're honest with yourself. I'm not calling into question people's character or people's courage, but let us be real. 50 rounds a year is not enough. We need to be diligent at this point because words on paper are only safeguarded with our willingness to use force to protect them. That's what I got for y'all. Hope it was helpful for you. If you enjoyed the video, I hope you'll subscribe to me here on YouTube. You can also support me on Patreon and Subscribestar. I got newsletters on Patreon and Subscribestar because there are some things that I just can't really talk about here on this censored platform. And you do have access to those in the newsletter on Patreon and Subscribestar. I also accept cryptocurrency. We need to be diligent right now. And we need to recognize that the Sanctuary County movement is good. It is legitimate. It is valid. It is inspiring people to take a stand, a righteous stand against having their rights violated. But it is words on paper, and we must be diligent to defend ourselves. For now, it's Patriot Nurse signing off, and I'll see y'all later.